The Chargers football season has begun, and if it wasn't clear already, it is absolutely evident now that this team culture has absolutely changed. And the man that revolves around it is Jim Harbaugh, but also Ben Herbert is a huge part of this culture shift. And we're going to start off with his interview because this dude is freaking intense and I love the way he talks. So make sure to like and subscribe if you do enjoy this content, bro. It helps me out so much. And let's start off with Ben Herbert explaining his weight room program.
My first goal is to make you harder to break. How are we going to go about doing that? How we train your neck in traps to protect your head. The most vulnerable areas of the body, in my opinion, in the game of football, the head, right and left shoulder, right and left hip girdle, right and left hamstring, right and left ankle. So through your training, you have to be proactive at training those areas of the body.
So the very first thing he says is he wants to make these guys harder to break. I mean, just the terminology that this guy is using, it's just so exciting. And also the way that he is staring down this reporter like the Undertaker while he's answering the question and not giving away eye contact to anyone else. He is maintaining eye contact the whole way as he is talking about making these guys harder to break with training through their hip flexors and their ankles, talking about ankle mobility, grading their ankle mobility. He talked about later on, like giving them an A to a D grade. I mean, this guy, he is really analytical as well. Jim Harbaugh even mentioned it in his interview yesterday as well, that Ben Herbert, he utilizes both the analytical side as well as that, you know, big macho masculine side, the old school kind of way of just lifting weights and being mentally tough. So don't let this persona and this intensity fool you into thinking that he's just this macho meathead. He absolutely is analytical, scientific when it comes to his training. And also he has that, you know, you want to run through a brick wall. This guy is a perfect combination of those two. And he also utilizes a perfect combination of the physical and mental aspect in his program. Here he is talking about the mental aspect.
Goal number 2. And it has to do more with consistency. Your ability to show up every day and repeatedly do what you are capable of doing. Attention to detail. Like when we had 2.5 pound plates we used today. And when they put those plates back, the plates are stacked. When they put them back a certain way. No different than a DB's eyes or his footwork or an offensive lineman's feet or his hand placement. Like ways we practice attention to detail. We train a certain way, but we also how we keep the room. Just how we do everything, there's a certain level of detail involved in that. And then emotional stability. I don't change. Meaning, oh, Coach Herb got the juice today. He's feeling good. He's happy. He's excited. Well, then it rains. And I feel a certain type of way. If something happens, I don't change emotionally. When I walk in the facility, who you know me to be is who I am.
So the three main things with the mental aspect is consistency, attention to detail, and emotional stability. Now that's something that I feel as though the Chargers in this team's past with Brandon Staley, they didn't really have, especially consistency. That is the main thing they did not have. Attention to detail, you know, I wasn't in the building, so I can't comment on that. But definitely emotional stability was something that I really believe was lacking. I mean, the big moment everyone can think of, I know you're thinking of the same exact moment I'm thinking of right now, Joey Bosa throwing his helmet down right in front of the head coach, Brandon Staley, and nothing happened. That was not emotionally stable. He was doing that on the sideline. But you know what? It's a new day with Ben Herbert. This culture has absolutely shifted, and let's hear how he describes his program in total.
And then bigger, faster, stronger. I want to improve range of motion in tissue and joint. I want to give you more pressing capability. I want to make you improve your acceleration, your top end speed, help make a guy harder to break, consistency, attention to detail, emotional stability. Bigger, faster, stronger, more mobile and flexible. That's how you can describe our program.
Bigger, faster, stronger, more mobile and flexible. I mean, he's basically covering all the bases here. That is what you want in an athlete. That's what you want in a football player. Hopefully, he can bring that to the Chargers. We're going to see how this program goes. Obviously, he's saying all of the correct things. Two of the things that I am not showing you that he did say, because it was a bit long-winded, is that he had 145 players during his time at Michigan this past season. None of them got injured outside of 2 guys, and both of them were broken bones. One of them, obviously, Zach Zinter, one of those guard prospects that I've been very high on in the later rounds that I think we should draft. But either way, soft tissue injuries, they were prevented with Ben Herbert. The things like an ACL injury, bruises and bumps that you get along the way during the football season. I mean, no one's going to be 100% after like week 3, but even just things like pulling a hamstring or being cramped up, it just doesn't seem to happen with Ben Herbert as your strength and conditioning coach. So hopefully he can continue that trend that he started in Michigan into the NFL, and we're going to see a lot less injuries. I love his intensity. And also, I want to show you this last clip of him explaining how he needs to gain trust with the Chargers players in order to fully have everyone committed to his program.
You don't get second chances. When it comes, trust takes time. And I told the guys, the offensive group specifically, there will come a point in time where Coach Herb says, and based on the relationship that we've established, you know that that's in your best interest. When I give you advice, I'm not known for giving bad advice. If I don't know something, I stand quietly.
So that basically sums up Ben Herbert's interview, and I'm really excited about him. I know a lot of Chargers fans are as well. Jim Harbaugh in his interview was talking about how excited he is about continuing to work with Ben Herbert, saying that they're going to create a physicality on this team, that mental and the physical side is both very important. He talked about how schematically, if a player doesn't know the scheme and he doesn't know what he's supposed to do, he's not going to be playing as fast, and that even if he is a superior athlete, if there is another guy on the opposite side that knows what he's doing within the scheme and is a worse athlete, that better athlete, he's probably not going to be playing as well as the guy who knows what he's doing. So emphasizing the mental and the physical side of the game. That's what both Ben Herbert and Jim Harbaugh were doing. Also talking about getting a baseline of what their physicals are in terms of like, can you push 225 like this? How many times can you do that? And can you bench press 225? How many times can you do that? Ankle mobility, like what they're grading at. It's a lot of in-depth stuff with like flexibility, their power, there's, tons of stuff. But there are 2 clips that I want to show you from this Jim Harbaugh interview. And the very first one is him talking about Kristian Fulton.
Starter level corner in this league. Excited to get him with Ben, some of the soft tissue stuff. He's played at a high level, played at a starting caliber, good football player.
So Kristian Fulton, 25-year-old cornerback at a position of need, a premier position also, signed him for a low money deal, trying to get him right in this Ben Herbert program. That is why they signed him. He's had some soft tissue injuries, but Jim Harbaugh has said he's a starting caliber corner. So if Kristian Fulton can come in and not get injured, he goes in this Ben Herbert program and he has a resurgence, this would be a really, really great signing. And also, we could re-sign him after this year if he plays really well. And if we don't, some other team could sign him for big money if he plays really well. Then we get that comp pick. So it's basically either a free good corner or a free draft pick at the end of this year if he plays well. And if he doesn't, there's no harm, no foul. And this was the most interesting thing to me. He was asked about why he has so many coaches on his coaching staff, and he basically explained that it's a pipeline of coaches that he wants to have. Take a listen.
We have the coaches that are coaching the positions. I also like to have coaches that are the next position coaches. And I like to have guys that are just getting their start, and you make a pipeline.
So he's basically anticipating having success with the Chargers, and if he does, what if Greg Roman gets a head coaching job? Then you have someone lined up to be offensive coordinator. Or even a positional coach could get promoted to be offensive coordinator at the Raiders, and then you need to promote someone from within rather than look all around and try to scour the league for a new quarterbacks coach. And Jim Harbaugh was really, really good at doing that. Really his entire career, he's been great at doing that. And Jim Harbaugh also had a bunch of funny little quotes, so I'm just gonna play a couple of them that I thought were really funny to end this video.
The back is just an untapped gold mine of lean muscle mass. Yeah, do you want a steel rod in your neck, or do you want a noodle? You want that steel rod, a trunk, that goes into the roots go into the traps, and fat's the enemy of speed. I'm just like, let's go, start working.